Well, howdy everybody. Hope your new year is going excellent, even though we're only 4 days in. So yesterday it occurred to me that I've been truly PC gaming for over 10 years. What I mean is that I bought my first PC with dedicated graphics 10 years ago, which was this month in 2006. Coinciding with that, I've hit a milestone with my channel. I've gotten 100 subscribers so far. Technically I'm at 103, but I am really ecstatic over that. And in celebration of that fact, as well as my 10-year anniversary in PC gaming, I figure I might as well tell you some of my PC gaming origins, or at least the first part of it. I also want my subscribers to get to know me a little better, and I see this as a good way of doing it. Technically, I've been PC gaming since I was 5 years old, which was on our family's crappy Tandy, whatever model it was, which we had for way too long. Later in 1996, it was an HP Pavilion with a Pentium 2, I think. It was a Pentium 2, it might have been a Pentium 1, and it only has 16 or 32 megabytes of RAM. So PC gaming has sort of been a sporadic thing for me, at least when I was younger, especially as my father saw the PC as a tool only, with gaming something to be relegated to the consoles my brother and I had access to as we grew up, those being Sega Genesis, PlayStation 1, and PlayStation 2. The exception were flight simulators, since it was a genre really only available on PC and it had plenty of educational merit. I also played the Age of Empires 2 demo on one of our later computers, which was a Sony Vaio desktop, as well as the original Call of Duty on my aunt and uncle's PC. These gave me my first real taste of the PC's potential as a gaming machine beyond flight sims. My first actual computer that actually was mine was a high school graduation gift, specifically a Toshiba convertible tablet notebook that was not built for PC gaming at all. While its 1.6 GHz Pentium M was not wholly unsuited for games, its paltry 512 megabytes of RAM, and even worse, its Intel Extreme Graphics 2 IGP was complete shit for PC gaming. This was an integrated graphics processor that didn't even have on-chip transform and lighting, nor even a Polygon or Vertex engine of any kind that I know of. That work was relegated to the PC CPU itself. It was not an ideal gaming PC setup, but nevertheless, it allowed me to dive into PC gaming in a way that I had not before. Far Cry never should have ran on it in the first place, but it actually did, glitches and all, and I even beat the game on that crappy notebook, despite all the glitching that was present in the game. Half-Life and Age of Empires 2 being already 7-year-old games, ran fine, and the original Call of Duty ran okay at medium-ish settings, which was my first experience in online gaming ever. I wasted so much time playing Call of Duty Online at school during my college lunch breaks and in between classes, and this was all while listening to Pantera, Megadeth, and Alice in Chains as I sprayed hot lead and headshotted people online. Going into the fall months of 2005, I became more and more knowledgeable about PCs, especially as I knew that I wanted something better for playing games on. The Xbox 360 came out in November of 2005, and along with it, a new generation of console and PC titles. When it became truly apparent that my crappy for games notebook didn't have the hardware to play new games like Call of Duty 2, Fear, and Serious Sam 2, I made the decision to buy something that could. The Call of Duty 2 demo and Serious Sam 2 refused to even start up due to hardware compatibility, namely the lack of hardware transform and lighting. Now, as much as I would have liked to have bought or built a desktop, I was still stuck on dial-up at home. I was going to college that was only a few miles away from home, and I needed a laptop to enjoy the high-speed LAN they had at school, making mobility a requirement for me. So in early January of 2006, I spent $1,600 on a new laptop that could play those games. Looking back on it, I still didn't know PC hardware that well. I knew some, but not enough really. But I knew that I needed a dedicated graphics processor with dedicated video memory, as well as more CPU grunt and more system memory too. I also wanted an AMD CPU. The laptop that I bought was a Gateway MX7515 with the following specs: an Athlon 64 4000 CPU, a full gigabyte of DDR system memory, a 15.4-inch 1280 by 800 display, a 100 gigabyte hard drive that ran at 5400 RPM, Windows XP, and most importantly, ATI Mobility Radeon X600 graphics with 128 megabytes of video memory. The kicker was that the 128 megabytes of video memory was of the hypermemory nature. In actuality, it was 64 megabytes of dedicated memory, but with another 64 megabytes of system memory allocated as VRAM to boost the total amount of VRAM available. But compared to the Toshiba, it was an absolute beast, even if the graphics were not up to the same merit as the CPU. But this machine allowed me to finally play Call of Duty 2, Half-Life 2, Battlefield 2, fear, and consequently jump into real PC gaming even if I had to play those games with reduced settings. Realistically, the Mobility Radeon X600 really was not that powerful compared to the latest desktop or even laptop graphics solutions available. Call of Duty 2 was my muse, but when I finally played the Battlefield 2 demo, I had to go out and buy the actual game. To this day, I still consider Battlefield 2, along with Battlefield 2142, my favorite multiplayer gaming experience ever. This is an opinion that subsequent Battlefield games have yet to sway, even if Battlefields 3 and 4 were really good. PC gaming during the spring of 2006 took up a lot of my free time. I would sometimes spend entire nights at the school library, which was open 24/7, playing Call of Duty 2 or Battlefield 2. Even after buying an Xbox 360 in March, PC gaming held my attention despite not having a PC in the same class of graphics performance as the Xbox 360. I just couldn't get the 64-player online experience PC games gave me that consoles did not. So despite the issues with the Gateway MX7515, it was a good start for me, but I ended up allowing my attention and wallet to be swayed into giving up more money for all not that much more in graphics performance. Stupidly enough, I bought a slightly better notebook the following summer, an HP Pavilion DV Series notebook. I will stop here, as that is just another story for another video, as I really just wanted to talk about my origins in PC gaming that laid out my foundation in PC gaming for the past decade. I just hope you enjoyed this, and feel free to comment down below how you got started in PC gaming. I love audience participation if you didn't know that already, but just let me know if you're interested in more stories about my PC gaming journey. So take care everybody, I will see you next time.